Here we go, College Football Payoff Podcast. We are into bowl season. So
yes, we are.
Episode 16 on the year. Bowl season, part 1. I think it's episode 53 overall. And we've made it. So I'm Dan. That's Fuji. We're back after last week taking off, which I'm glad we didn't give out locks last week on the Army-Navy game.
We would have lost.
First time
I did lose.
Was it first time in 16 or 17 years?
17.
17 years that game went over. It took 2 overtimes, but it went over. And that kind of broke the internet a little bit. But before that, just wanted to let everyone know 3-0 for me in the conference championship week. Started off big with the USC-Utah over 67.5. Then we hit LSU-Georgia over 50.5. That was easy money. And then Troy minus 8.5 against Coastal. That was also easy. So all 3 hit pretty handedly. So that gave me a finish on the season before, we'll call that the regular season. Regular season record 29-21. It's 58% overall. What did you go?
I went 3-1 on championship week. Had Troy minus 8.5 with you. Took Michigan minus 17. Mm-hmm. Cashed a Fresno State minus 3. So those were my 3 wins, and then ended up losing the Clemson North Carolina ACC championship over. I mean, that landed on 49, so never really had a chance.
Yeah.
So, 28-19 on the season. 112, 82-1 all time.
Nice. So 60% on the season. Podcast record 57-40. We had 59% wins this year for the regular season.
That feels good. It feels good to be able to do that 3 years in a row.
I mean, yeah, that shows that we're putting up some good numbers here, and it gives us a good boost going into this bowl season. So yeah, we're gonna roll right into this. So the way we're doing this, we've broken this down into 3 episodes. We'll give you one each week. We're recording this on Tuesday, so we'll be ready.
And then a national championship one.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So the third week has the
bowl season part 3 will have the college football playoff.
Semis, and then we do have a 4th episode that's just national championship.
Correct.
This is bowl season, but we have a national championship.
Nice.
So recording this on a Tuesday. We'll get you ready for the first games that are on Friday, December 16th. And the way we do this, we got all the games right here in front of us. We hit on each game. You might get analysis, or you might get a stay away, or you might get a lean, you might get bare minimum, whatever it is. But we're going to give you a little something for each one, and then we'll let you know if we lock, lean, or leave. Lock, lean, leave. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do you have anything else? We're going to get into this. We're just going to flow through it real quick.
No, I'm ready to go.
All right, cool. So let's start it off. The very first game of the bowl season is the Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl. So this is Friday the 16th, 11:30 a.m. This is in the Bahamas, and it's Miami of Ohio against UAB. So these lines I grabbed this afternoon, I'm sorry. So the line I got here is UAB minus 10.5, over under set at 44.5. Do you have anything you want to talk about in this one?
Not really. Miami, Ohio's quarterback, I think. I don't know if he's playing or not. I think he entered the transfer portal, and then I think he backed out of it, entering the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. I'll never back a MAC team. And I'm going to give a lean here, not an official lock, but I'll take that UAB minus 10.5. I'll probably bet that in real life, but it's not going to be a pod play.
Yeah,
just a different class of programs, and just MAC and bowl season has always historically been atrocious. And when you have questions about your starting quarterback, who this offense is only averaging 309 yards a game anyways. Just don't think that's a good sign. So I'll lean with the UAB minus 10.5.
Yeah, this is one of those games. Both teams are set at 6-6. So if you win, you get a winning season. If you lose, you got a losing season. Only the 6th time UAB's been in a bowl, not counting that 2020 bowl that was canceled. They're 2-3 in bowls after winning last in 2021 over BYU. Miami's 8-5 in bowls, but they're 1-2 under head coach Chuck Martin. They won their Frisco Football Classic last year against North Texas, but 7 of the first 13 bowl appearances were in 1986 or earlier. So I'm going to lean with you as well. We'll lean with UAB on this one. Closer to a lock for me, but I'm going to stick it with the lean. And then for a total, what did I say the total was? 44.5?
Yep.
Right? I'm going to, because I want to hit both. So 44.5, I could say I'd probably lean the total more than the game in this one. So I'm going to lean for the over 44.5 in this one. Let me just write this shit down so I don't forget. Lean over 44.5. Good. All right. Cool. Moving on. Second game we got on the docket is the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl. So Duluth Trading gets their own bowl this week.
CUSA champ versus Sunbelt champ.
That's right. This is Friday. It's another Friday game, so you got 2 games on Friday. This one's at 3 p.m. Nice roll into your weekend. UTSA taking on Troy. Troy I have as a -1.5 favorite. Totals at 55.5. Do you have anything different on that?
No, that's what I'm looking at. That's like pretty much the consensus line all around, and I think I'm gonna just no lock for me here, but I am gonna look towards the under here.
The under, so you're going with the under 55.5. For me, I mean, I watched this Troy team play last week, and I know they're playing a different type of opponent here. But I was really, really impressed with how Troy played that game. I haven't got to see too much of UTSA, though, so that's why I can't really be confident in locking. Their quarterback at UTSA is he is a star on that team, Frank Harris. He's had 255 yards, 2 scores in last year's bowl loss. Wasn't able to get it going on the ground, but I think he'll do a little bit better this year. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a fun game. I think it'll be a close game. I'll probably stay away. You're leaning the over.
Yeah, I mean, Troy's defense is really, really good. They only allowed 325 yards per game this year while only allowing 17.5 points per game. UTSA on the other side, their defense stepped up. I mean, although they're playing a bit weaker competition, Conference USA, they did hold their opponents to 26.5 points per game. I cannot take a side here just in case one of the, never know bowl season, the motivations of these teams. But I think this is going to be a pretty good game, actually. I'm really excited to watch these 2 conference champions play each other, both sitting at 11-2. But there's nothing here. I just don't see an edge. Both these teams are on big winning streaks. Both these teams win substantially when they're supposed to. I mean, both these teams just take care of business. So it's going to be maybe a lean to the under, but yeah, it's mostly probably going to be a no bet.
Yeah, I'm going to let you take that. I'm going to leave this game alone. I will not be touching this one. All right, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. This is Saturday, the 17th at 11 a.m. This, of course, is at Fenway Park in Boston. This is intriguing. It's Cincinnati against Louisville. Louisville's -1.5 favorite. Over-unders at 42. Is Luke Fickell coaching this game?
No, absolutely not.
All right. That's my key for this. I'm actually going to lock in Louisville -1.5.
I actually have it at -1.
Okay.
Because I'm locking it up, too.
Oh, hey, there we go.
There's some agreement.
All right.
Yeah, this is a pure motivation play.
Mm-hmm.
Since he's down bad, they lost their AAC winning streak the day after they lost their conference streak and home streak. The day after they lost that, Luke Fickell got up and went to Wisconsin, which is probably one of the best coaching hires in the country.
I'm nervous about it.
Yeah, and so I mean, since he's just down bad, on top of that, their quarterback Ben Bryant's not that good, and he even struggled against a lot of AAC teams this year, and this is going to be a step up in class for him when it comes to playing. I mean, we know the ACC isn't that great. They're probably the weakest Power 5 conference this year, but there just are different dudes on this Louisville team. And on top of that, Louisville has the motivation. They know kind of why, Scott Satterfield was forced out of that program, so he kind of found the right time to jump ship. Louisville went and got their guy Jeff Brom, But they want to show their old coach. They'll use that as motivation somehow. If like, oh, our old coach left us when really he was going to get fired in the first place. But that's a motivation play for them. And I really would like to see how Malik Cunningham plays this game. This could be a nice national showcase for him because Louisville didn't get too many national spotlight games this year, if any.
Yeah, I mean, it's Luke Fickell leaves for Wisconsin, so they'll have Kerry Coombs taking over in Cincinnati. I liked him when he was at Ohio State just because he was a rah-rah guy, but when he steps into the bigger spotlights of defensive coordinator, he really, really struggled at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think he'll really, really struggle as an interim head coach. And like you said, Scott Satterfield basically is switching sides. When this is over, he's taking over Cincinnati. So you got two interim head coaches taking on each other, but I think Louisville in this one is just more motivated to get their game going. And Cincinnati has not been very good in the bowls. They're 10-11 overall in bowls. Lost their last two. They're 2-5 in the last 7. The last win they had, last 7 since beating Duke in 2012. So I like it, and that's a double lock. We're both locking that, yeah?
Yeah.
Love it.
Louisville -1.
Louisville -1. Okay. SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. This is another Saturday one, the 17th. This is at 2:30 p.m. We got Florida, Oregon State. This is in Las Vegas. It's at the Raiders Stadium. Oregon State -10.5. Total set at 52.5. Do you have anything for this?
No, I have this one labeled red.
I'm sorry?
So labeled red. It's
red.
Big
stay away.
Stay away from me.
Get the hell out of here.
Florida, we see everything that's going on with there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson going to the draft. I mean, I don't know why. He definitely needed another year in my eyes, but whatever. His backup in jail for shit I don't even want to talk about. And but something that is interesting, and maybe here's some hidden value on Florida, even though I'm not going to give it out, or I don't even lean this way. Their quarterback that's supposed to start is Jack Miller III. So former backup for Ohio State. He was pretty highly coveted out of college.
I liked him.
So this could be a nice little coming out party for him. And on top of that, like the last taste that Oregon State left in everybody's mouth was the fact that they came back and kind of bullied Oregon down the stretch there. I think the price on Oregon State here is too high. So if I had to bet this game, it would be Florida plus the 10.5, just with the hidden quarterback talent. And everybody, the last time they saw Oregon State, they were just beating the dog shit out of Oregon at the end. So they'll probably be a public side. But yeah, I mean, this is a big stay away for me.
Okay, yeah, I can see why you're staying away. But if I'm not locking this, but I am actually going to lean the Oregon State -10.5 in this. And it's because of the momentum shifts that you see in teams. Oregon State coming off a huge, one of the best comebacks in college football.
Right.
Taking care of business there. And then Florida having their off-the-field issues, which we will not talk about because that's just despicable, and having a new quarterback. I just don't think Florida's in a good place right now. So that's how I'm going to lean it. I think it's all right. I still think they come out double-digit winners in that one.
Nice.
Okay. The LA Bowl. I'm not going to say the first part because I really don't like the guy. I don't think he deserves his own bowl.
Fuck Jimmy Kimmel.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all.
LA Bowl. Saturday, December 17th, 3:30 p.m. So Saturday we got a good slate of games. This is in Inglewood. So yeah, this is SoFi, right? SoFi Stadium.
Is this SoFi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Rice against Southern Miss. Southern Miss is
more fans than a Rams game.
It probably will.
Yeah.
Rice, Southern Miss. Southern Miss is 6.5 point favorites. Total set at 46.5.
That's the London Tree Bowl. Rice and Southern Miss.
Jesus, I'm sorry. I am down. I'm looking at wrong bowl. All right. Washington State, Fresno State. Fresno State's -3. Total's 55. Anything here?
We got a lock.
Ooh. All right. What do you got for me?
Gonna go with Fresno State -3. They are your Mountain West champ. They are a 9-4 team, and they would probably be an 11-1 team or a 12-1 team. 11-2 team maybe if Jake Haener was healthy the whole year. This guy to me is probably one of the best quarterbacks going to the NFL draft, or at least he'll be one of the most slept-on quarterbacks or most underrated. This Fresno State team clicks on all cylinders when he's in the game. And even when he's and they beat everybody substantially. The closest game that they had was against UNLV that after his injury, and that was 7 points. They only won by, but that was his first game back, so I had to shake the rust off. After that, they put it on all their opponents, especially Boise in the conference championship game. But when we look at Wazoo, oh wait, one more thing on Fresno, is that their running back, Mims, 1,100 yards, 16 touchdowns. I mean, he's a beast. So even if Haener can't get it going, they'll just feed Mims, and he should be able to run on this Wazoo rushing defense, or just Wazoo defense as a whole. The best player on this team is Cam Ward, transfer quarterback from Incarnate Word from last year. He has had a pretty good season for an FCS quarterback transferring to FBS, but at the end of the day, we're getting a conference champion Mountain West team in Fresno State playing the perfectly average Pac-12 team of the year. Wazoo lost to everybody who they were supposed to, and they beat everybody they were supposed to. With losses to Oregon in conference, losses to Oregon, losses to USC, Oregon State, Utah, and Washington. They ended up beating Cal, Stanford, Arizona State, and Arizona. Man, that's just the perfectly average season for the Pac-12. Do I think the average team from the Pac-12 is going to beat the Mountain West? Maybe if they're one team higher, yes, but not this one. So I'm going to go with Fresno State -3.
That's a lock. All right. I'm going to leave this one alone. Washington State, if I were to lean, it would be leaning with you just because I feel like we're rolling. But Washington State relies on their passing game. I don't think it'll be very successful for them because Fresno State 17th fewest passing yards in the country, and Washington State allows a lot of passing yards. I don't know. I was looking at the total, but I'm just going to stay away from this one. I'll let you have your fun with that and bring us home a win in the lock.
Perfect.
Okay. Now we're on to the Lending Tree Bowl, Saturday the 17th, 5:45 p.m. down in Mobile, Alabama. Now this is Rice versus Southern Miss. Southern Miss 6.5-point favorites and total set at 46.5. Anything?
Got another lock.
Wow, he's on fire, folks. All right, what? Let me see. What would you lock? Let me see if I can guess your lock.
Guess, see if you know it.
Let me see your guess on this one. Over 46.5.
It's not.
Okay, I'm not good at guessing. I'm good at analyzing. All right, let's hear it. Go for it.
For me, it's going to be the Southern Miss -6.5. They've been shuffling quarterbacks all year and still finding ways to win. Rice, on the other hand, to me, they're just not a good team. They're 5-7. Not even, they're kind of a begging for a bid to a bowl game team. I mean, 5-7 doesn't even qualify you for a bowl game. They have lost 4 of their last 5, and everything for this team absolutely went downhill when they lost to Charlotte. Charlotte was one of the worst teams, probably bottom 10 team in the country this year, and they whipped Rice 56-23. Southern Miss isn't like this great team on the other hand, but they do catch lightning in a bottle every now and then. They do have Frank Gore Jr., and I mean that's who you pretty much talk about when you talk Southern Miss. He's got over 1,000 yards this year, and I think he'll do just fine and have a lot of production against this defense, this Rice defense that allows 166 rushing yards per game. Frank Gore Jr. finished the season against ULM with 199 yards on the ground. I think this game plan is pretty simple. Rice's offense shouldn't be able to really go anywhere, and the defense is pretty bad. I think just no matter who's at quarterback for Southern Miss, feed Frank Gore, and I think we can win by a touchdown here.
Yeah, I'm going to lean with you on that one. Frank Gore Jr. And the fact that Rice they're going to finish with a losing season no matter what. they're just begging to get. They're not a good team, so yeah, I'll lean with you on that one. Okay, am I on the New Mexico Bowl? Yeah, New Mexico Bowl Saturday again, the 17th, 7:30 p.m. out in Albuquerque. We got SMU 5.5-point favorites against BYU. Totals at 65.5. Fuji, what do you got?
I am going to lean over, but not lock it up.
I'm gonna lock the over up.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock it up.
Take it away.
SMU, they're giving up a lot of points. They give up 36.4 points per game, and they also score a lot of points. That's the big thing for me. It's going to be out in New Mexico. It's a Saturday night. BYU, New Mexico's close to Utah, right? Kind of.
I don't think too close, but
Closer
close.
than
I mean,
normal.
same side of the country.
Anyway, I think BYU will have their fans traveling to this one.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and I think it just points to I've watched the two teams. Everyone knows that SMU was part of that insane game, that huge over earlier this year. And BYU, whenever I watch them, they seem to always click on the offensive side of the ball. I think SMU giving up the 10th most points in the country kind of bodes to this. They've allowed 59-plus points in 2 of their last 4 games, SMU has.
They border each other diagonally on the map, New Mexico and Utah. So I guess.
All right,
I guess they are close.
See, so I think BYU travels well. BYU fans are pretty crazy. I think this is a shootout. I think both teams come out. They just air the ball out. They know they're playing a prime time game, on a Saturday, first Saturday bowl season. SMU's defense is just non-existent. BYU is going to come out. They're going to, it's going to be a shootout. I can see both teams probably scoring 40 in this one. So let's lock in the total. We're going over 65.5 in that one.
Nice.
All right, let me see. Sorry, I got to type while I'm talking so that I don't forget any of this stuff for everyone. 65.5 BYU. All right. BYU Frisco Bowl. All right, this is the last game on Saturday. This is 9:15 down in Frisco, Texas. It's North Texas against Boise State. Boise State's 10.5-point favorite. Totals at 57.5. Whenever I have games of teams that play in the same state, I always tend to lean towards that team. I don't know why it is. I think Frisco is South Texas, and I know Texas is a big state, but I always like to lean the way of whoever's closer. And if you're in the same state, I'll lean with you. Now, for me, 10.5 or 10 points. I see 10, but I have 10.5 on my sheet. Do you have something?
I got Boise at minus 10.5.
You got Boise at minus 10.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, is that a lock or a lean?
It's a lock.
Go for it. I'm leaning them. I'm leaning North Texas just because of my factor of in-state bowl games. But go ahead. Let's hear what you got.
I watched this CUSA championship that North Texas was a part of. Like I said earlier, UTSA absolutely bullied them in that game. Since then, they've lost their AD, and since then they fired their head coach. So I just think this UNT team is down and out. They've been pretty disappointing most of the season. I don't know how they actually they got pretty lucky getting into their conference championship. I just don't think they're like this is a true matchup of conference championship losers. Boise has the dudes to win this game, and on top of that, Boise's defense is really good. They only allowed 281.5 yards per game. That's one of the top defenses on that aspect in the country, and they allowed 18.5 points a game. Boise's got the dudes and the defense to win this game by double digits. Give me minus 10.5.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that is a big key in these games because this is the time of year when, coaches they don't get fired, but they take new jobs and all that. So you have interim guys. But all right. Myrtle Beach Bowl. Is that what we're on? Yep.
Yeah.
Monday. All right, so the only game on Monday, the 19th at 2:30 p.m. down in Conway, South Carolina, we have Marshall, 10.5-point favorites against UConn. Total is set at 41. Wow. Total's at 41.
That's a weird one.
Leaning, locking.
I got this one labeled red.
Staying
Stay away. There was a point like 6 or 7 games into the season this year where the spread did not matter on a Marshall game because they were either underdogs that won outright or favorites that lost outright. And I don't know. This Marshall team's all over the area, all over the place. They did beat Notre Dame, obviously. Everybody remembers that. But I do think there's going to be a nice little motivation factor for UConn here with, man, what a crazy turnaround with the season they had last year to being bowl eligible now. So I think they are going to give their best effort, especially under head coach Jim Mora. So this is just going to be a no bet for me because I have no idea what these teams are going to be like in postseason play. But yeah, I mean, maybe if that number climbs more, I'd maybe take UConn plus the points if I can get like a 11.5, 12 maybe. But outside of that, I just don't know. I don't really want to touch this total, and I don't want to bet Marshall. So
yeah, the whole Marshall deal with me. You know, they did have their one fluke game.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bet with them, and I really don't. I don't know if I ever really want to bet with UConn, but I saw the total at 41. I'm not locking it, but I'm leaning towards the over. I'm just hoping that we get some points scored in that game. I feel like Monday during the day in South Carolina, I feel like guys will be, ready to go. They'll bring out some trick plays. I just see. Let's score some points. Let's hope for points, but no locks for me on that one either. Okay. 4 more to go. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Tuesday, one of 2 games on Tuesday the 20th. This is at 3:30 p.m. out in Boise on the blue turf, Eastern Michigan, against San Jose State, minus 3.5-point favorites. Totals at 54.5. Let me pull mine up because I think I might have had a lock on this. Do you have anything while I'm pulling this
is a
up?
big stay away for me. 2 reasons here. I'm not going to back a MAC team, and I had San Jose State over 6.5 wins this year. They ended up being a no bet because they did not play every game in their season due to a death of one of the players on the team. But man, this is just not a San Jose State team I can back right now. Maybe something will change before kickoff, but whoever knows where the totals go with these MAC games, and I don't know. This is a very unattractive game to me for betting wise. It'll probably be a good game live. But, man, it's just not something I'm interested in investing money in.
Yeah, so I didn't have a lock in this. I was just pulling your leg. But I did have it starred because I had a note on here that Eastern Michigan, if I'm going to lean anything, I'm going to lean San Jose State minus 3.5. And it's basically solely on this. It's that Eastern Michigan, they were 8-4 this year. They had 0 wins over bowl-eligible teams. And then San Jose State was 7-4. They defeated one team who was bowl eligible. So they beat Wyoming. That was the only bowl eligible team. So just on that principle alone, that's why I'm leaning San Jose State because of little stuff like that. So that's lean San Jose State minus, what did I say, 3.5? 3.5. All right. Roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, the second game on that Tuesday, the 20th, 7:30 p.m. Boca Raton, Florida. Liberty, Toledo, 4.5-point favorites are Toledo. Totals at 54. You don't like Maction, but what do you like in this?
So stay away from me, man. Toledo's 5-point favorite. A lot of respected guys in the industry say that Toledo does the least with the most. I mean, they really don't like Toledo's head coach, and Liberty just lost Hugh Freeze and is bringing in Jamie Chadwell. A lot of dudes there hit the transfer portal. I do think Jamie Chadwell will do fine at Liberty. Man, if I was forced to take something here, it'd probably be Liberty plus 5 still, because those players are probably going to feel pretty good about the hire that Liberty made, even though they are losing their head coach to the SEC. I mean, you're gonna tell me that a struggling Toledo team that did end up winning the MAC is a 5-point favorite over Liberty. I must be missing something. So just big stay away from me.
Okay. Staying away. I mean, I actually had this as I'm locking in Toledo minus 4.5. Hang on, let me write this stuff down. I hate this that I can't write while I talk. All right. Locking in Toledo, and I had a minus 4.5 on my sheet, but here's why. As you mentioned, Hugh Freeze gone. Liberty, they've had bowl success, but I think this comes to an end. They lost by 35 points to New Mexico State in their last game. They used 3 different quarterbacks against New Mexico State. Those 3 were only able to combine for 207 yards passing, 1 touchdown, interception, while completing 25%, or 25 passes out of 39. Toledo, even though their QB Daquan Finn, he's banged up a little bit, they were still managed. They still somehow won that MAC championship last week. Toledo's ground game is what propelled them to win that game. They had 236 yards, 1 touchdown on 46 carries. They get to face Liberty, who, they have interim head coach. They don't know who a quarterback's going to be. Their defense feels like they have to perform on all levels to give their offense even a little shred of hope. Liberty allowed at least 176 rushing yards in each of their last 3 games. So I could see Toledo, using the run game to propel themselves into a lead and then kind of controlling the clock throughout.
Yeah.
So I'm actually locking the Toledo minus 4.5 in this one.
Okay. I support you.
Thank you. All right, 2 more. R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. This is out, of course, in New Orleans. The only game on Wednesday, the 21st, 9 p.m., Western Kentucky, South Alabama. South Alabama's a 5-point favorite. Total is at 56. I don't have anything in this one. I'm staying
I
with
would
this
maybe
one.
lean South Alabama here. These are both 2 pretty good teams for the respective conferences they're in.
Okay.
I just really liked what I watched out of this USA team this year, and their offense especially. I think they may be able to run away with this one. So I'm not an official lock, but I'll lean USA minus 4.
Good. I have nothing on that. I'm leaving that one alone. And then finally, the last game that we're going to cover, our second episode will pick up after this game. This is a week from Thursday, so we're jumping a little bit ahead. So with these games, these games from the Myrtle Beach Bowl onto this one, just kind of take into account that these lines will change, so try to jump on them as soon as you can if you are going to play them. Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Thursday the 22nd, 7:30, down in Fort Worth, Texas. Baylor against Air Force. Baylor's a 6.5-point favorite. Totals at 49.5. With this, so do you have anything while I search one little fact? You got a lock. Is it Baylor minus 6.5?
No, it's going to be under.
Okay. Talk about it real
50.
quick.
I really respect Dave Aranda as a defensive mind. I think with how one-dimensional military schools' offenses are, I think you should be able to scheme against this triple option or whatever they do. And I think we'll have a disciplined enough players to do that. This is a pretty average year for Baylor. It will be hard to score against them. And it'll be hard to score against an Air Force D who just eats up clock the whole time, or an Air Force offense who eats up clock the whole time. I think Baylor's opportunities will be very limited in this game to score. And I think Air Force will just eat up a bunch of clock. I mean, you're going to give me a military academy game that's under 50. I mean, against a Big 12 team, you'd think, oh, wow, this game could definitely go over. But Baylor's one of the lower side offenses in the Big 12. So yeah, I like this lock here at under 50.
Okay. I'm locking in the Baylor Bears -6.5 in this one.
Okay.
Okay. What I wanted to look up, and I don't know if this is true or not, but this is according to Google. All right. Baylor University is where? They are in Waco, Texas, right? This game's in Fort Worth, Texas. See, I knew that it was wrong. 90 miles apart.
Okay.
Okay. Baylor's close. I don't know. Where is...
That sucks if you make it to a bowl game to go to something like in your backyard pretty much, or even in the same state.
It sucks for the team, I would say.
I'm trying to go across the country.
Yeah. It sucks for the team, but you imagine if you're the fan of a team like this?
Get a lot of fans there, yeah.
Dude, they're going to have an absolute party. Meanwhile, Air Force is coming from Colorado. Now, they play in Colorado. I know they're Armed Forces team, triple option, all that. But going from Colorado this time of year down to Fort Worth, Texas is going to be kind of a culture shock for them. I like Baylor's offense. I really like Baylor's team. And it's tough for me to ever back a military school who, you're one-dimensional against a top, well, I wouldn't say a top, but a good contending team that's around every year in a big conference.
Yeah.
But I think the proximity to university and field in this one is, you're going to have a traveling party. It's going to be loud for Baylor, so
right.
That's my lock. Okay. Well, there you go. We got our first 13 games of bowl season.
Bowl season part 1 complete.
I left you with 4 locks. I gave you 4 locks, the rest leans, and then I think I left 3 of those games alone. So let me run through mine real quick for you. And then if you have yours set, I'll let you run through. We'll say our goodbyes, and then we'll get going. Okay. So I am leaning the over 44.5 in the Bahamas Bowl, leaving the Cure Bowl alone, locking Louisville -1 in the Fenway Bowl, leaning Oregon State -10.5, leaving alone the LA Bowl, leaning Southern Miss 6.5 in Lending Tree Bowl, locking the over 65.5 in the New Mexico Bowl, leaning North Texas +10.5, leaning the over 41 in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, leaning San Jose State -3.5, locking in Toledo -4.5 in the Boca Raton Bowl, leaving the New Orleans Bowl alone, and then locking in Baylor -6.5 in the Armed Forces Bowl. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll just give you my locks here. I'm going to lock up Louisville -1 with you.
Love it.
I am going to lock up Fresno State -3.
Good.
Southern Miss -6.5.
Good.
Boise -10.5.
Yeah.
And the Air Force Baylor Armed Forces Bowl under 50. Shout out to the troops.
It's a good send off. All right. So that's bowl
There's
season
5.
part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave 5, I gave 4. We got a good lock. I mean, we're coming off of big weeks, big seasons. So we'll do this, and then we'll record next week for part 2. We'll record the week after for part 3, and then we'll come back to close out the season with our national championship episode. I will tell you that episode, I'm going to go pretty far in depth in that one, just because we will have sports betting legal in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, we will by that time.
So that is going to be, I'm going to be all giddy with emotion in that one. So
a lot of props.
We'll have a lot going on in that one.
Probably only get 1 lock, though, on the game.
Oh, yeah, on the game a lock,
Yeah.
but I'll have props galore.
Yeah.
Ready to go for that. All right, hit him with the socials real quick. Do you have anything else before
I'm
you
good.
do that? All right, hit him with the
See you for part
socials, then
2.
we'll get out of here.
I'll follow Dan on Twitter at dposk13. Follow me at FujiBets. Most of all, follow the pod at CFP_pod. Just reach out to us on there. Love to interact. Love to keep growing. Let's finish strong in the bowl season with our records and with these pod numbers.
There we go. All right, yeah, like you said, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. That's it. That's all we got. And go France in the World Cup. If they win, I'm a winner. So shout out Billy Poscasil for letting me know today that if France wins, I could be in the money. So viva la France. All right, that's Fuji. I'm Dan. We will see you next week.